Alright, y'all, this is just a video about JasonTheWeen, and, I think he actually reacted to this, but I wanted to do one because, the views are good, so, yeah, I'm kind of hoping that maybe something will pop off with this, but, never know. Let's get into it, though.
What's up? It's your girl, Kiki Palmer, and this is my prime confession. Ciao. When I sat down,
JasonTheWeen isn't one person, at least not in the way you think. Everything
Okay.
Jason does plays into a bigger performance, a career built on turning himself into different characters online. Sometimes he's a cringy TikToker, others he's an IRL streamer or a musical artist. It feels like
Okay.
every few months he's onto an entirely new thing, and yet
I feel like, Black Boy Max kind of did the same thing with, like, his whole, like, rapper situation, so I'm not surprised that there's another person that does music.
every time he changes character, the crowd gets bigger. But what if I told you none of it happened by accident? The cringe, the characters, the constant reinventions, all of it was a part of a plan. In truth, it was never about the views or fame. Jason was chasing something else.
I gotta be successful quick so that he can live a happier life, and I've never told him that.
That's sweet. But this is actually pretty loud, I'm not gonna lie.
For JasonTheWeen, the American dream smelled a lot like acetone. It was the life his parents, immigrants from Vietnam, painstakingly built inside a small nail salon in Fort Worth, Texas. Jason spent
he's
plenty
from
of
Texas?
afternoons there,
Crazy.
doing homework on the counter with the buzz of nail drills in the background. He was a quiet kid, the kind that got straight A's, one spelling miss,
Can't
and
relate.
never really caused any trouble. From elementary school through high school, he mostly flew under the radar. But he couldn't ignore what he saw at home. His parents were older than everyone else's. They never took a day off, and every dollar they earned came from hunching over a manicure table. Somewhere along the way, he made himself a promise. Retire them. Get mom and dad out of that salon for good. The only problem was, he was 15. No license, no job, no way to make real money. Then 2019 rolled around, and a new kind of gold rush showed up on his phone. It started when a company called ByteDance bought this massive but relatively dead app called Musical.ly. They gutted it, rebranded it, and TikTok was released.
I remember
the
that.
app as a whole worked differently than any other social platform. Videos were meant to be short, less than a minute in length, and instead of you, the user, choosing who to follow and what kind of content to see, the algorithm really chooses for you. Within a year of the release, TikTok hit the top of the download charts like a nuke. In the blink of an eye, you had kids like Charli D'Amelio going from filming TikTok dances in her bedroom with 0 followers to just a few months later moving to LA, starring.
What does she even do now? Besides, like, shows and stuff, like, does she do, like, does she have her own business? Like, what's going on there?
In Hulu shows, Super Bowl commercials, signing multi-million-dollar deals with Dunkin', Hollister, and Morphe Cosmetics. And Jason thought, well, why not me? But here's the thing, social media algorithms feed on flair. They boost the stuff that grabs your attention, creates urgency, stirs FOMO. And honestly, Jason didn't have that kind of personality. There wasn't much about him that really created conversations. So what does he do? Well, he became someone else. Now, this kind of seems a lot more like an Internet 101 video than a JasonTheWeen documentary at this point. But pay attention because this all ties in here in a minute. You see, those cringy, over-the-top personalities online aren't anything new. Actually, it goes all the way back to 2009, to iCarly.
hey, it's Fred, and I'm gonna be on iCarly.
Fred is really one of the OGs of
Fred still does YouTube, by the way. I just wanna. He's older and he has a little brother. His little brother is literally balding right now. So, just
this. It's this annoying, polarizing, eccentric character, which, love it or hate it, it stops your scroll. For whatever reason, it makes people comment, share, and talk about it. And we've seen this same strategy a million times since Fred. From Neon to iShowSpeed, it's a tried and true way to rack up some views on social media. And Jason weaponized this, creating some of the most hard-to-watch, nails-on-a-chalkboard type videos.
Mommy, I need milk, Mom.
It didn't really take too long before these TikToks were pulling in millions of views, and Jason was growing an actual audience. And with a few viral videos and a snowballing fan base came sponsors.
Oh, I'm eating plant-based nuggets. You will?
For about a year or so, Jason kept up with this, creating cringy videos, trolling online, and for a while it was great. But then two problems hit. First, his TikTok accounts kept getting banned. No warnings,
Really?
no
Why?
appeals. One day he'd have hundreds of thousands of followers, the next, gone.
Gone.
Deleted like they never existed.
TikTok, what's going on?
Second, even with the views, the money just wasn't there. TikTok was still too new. Brands weren't shelling out fat checks for sponsored posts yet. So after graduating high school, in that summer limbo before college started, Jason made a decision. If he wanted real money, like retire your parents' money, he had to pivot to a new platform.
I need a new computer pronto, bro. This is crazy.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
We always felt like our content was
Platform. Twitch.
I wonder why
No,
you chose
going on
Twitch
Twitch,
instead of
That's
Kick.
a different beast. It's not like TikTok where one lucky post can shoot you into the algorithmic stratosphere. Twitch is slow, brutal, and unforgiving. And in my opinion, it's probably the hardest platform to build an audience on, which is exactly why Jason had to get strategic. He'd been casually streaming since he was 14. Nothing serious, just testing out the waters. But in August of 2022,
Actually,
he made the call, fully committing.
I wonder how he got all this information to like make this video. I like how like it's like a story, and like he's visualizing, like not visualizing it, but making a really nice picture for people to visualize it.
His sights on streaming. And in his very first month, he averaged 71 viewers per stream. For Twitch, that's an incredibly promising start. But here's where Jason's strategy kicks in. You see, Jason had an audience on TikTok, 1 million followers to be exact. And he began the slow and steady process of converting those followers from TikTok to Twitch. Over the next month, he would stream Valorant gameplay. But instead of keeping it one-dimensional, he got a bit creative.
Oh.
There's this website called ePal, where you could essentially pay girls to play video games with you. Weird.
Oh.
Yes, I know. But that was a part of the character.
Different.
The bit that Jason played.
nah, my pants.
He brought the same TikTok persona into these streams, awkward and always towing the line between cringe and comedy. He would try to rizz the girls up mid-game, leading to some of the most painfully uncomfortable moments imaginable. But that was the point. Jason wasn't just streaming to entertain live viewers, he was streaming for clips. After each stream, he'd post dozens of these videos to TikTok, and the views continued to snowball. Then the next time he'd start up a stream, he'd also go live on TikTok for the first hour or so, then end the TikTok live and tell his followers if they wanted to keep watching to come over to Twitch. The brilliance of this two-step approach paid off, because by October of that same year, he was averaging over 1,000 viewers per stream and had nearly 25,000 followers on Twitch. From there, Jason only hit the gas. He began collaborating with bigger streamers like Prod, Sneeko, and Shanks. He began evolving his content to audiences broader than Valorant. He started hosting e-dates and
Wait, Sneeko? Oh my god, bro.
added in IRL segments. But as 2022 came to an end and 2023 wrapped the corner, an entirely new shift to Jason's online presence came into the picture.
Every time I talk to you, my mind goes blank because you're just so beautiful, and I'm just like, I can't really think straight, you know what I mean?
Jason first met Eugen during what should have been just another
yeah.
stream. Something about her was different. The flirting and chemistry came naturally, and before long, their on-screen chemistry carried over into real life.
I think they're actually dating.
And for Jason,
Yeah.
this was his first genuine relationship, and soon his audience was just invested in them as they were in him. These days, broadcasting your relationship online is almost like a growth hack, another way to hook viewers. But for Jason,
I mean, yeah, and it's also a way to basically go catapult relationships into oblivion. But, you know.
it didn't work that way, because over the next year, his viewership actually became stagnant, hardly growing over the course of a year. So why am I mentioning this? Well, because in those moments with Eugen, at times the mask began to slip. Maybe he was just comfortable in the relationship, or was finally starting to feel comfortable in front of a camera. But viewers were beginning to see the more genuine side of Jason, especially during the breakup. Over time, having their relationship play out in front of thousands started to weigh on them. Jason's content still revolved around flirting with e-girls, and for Eugen, that was hard to ignore. Eventually, both decided to step away from the relationship, marking the end
I
of a chapter.
can. Why didn't he just pivot into other stuff though? I feel like that makes so much sense.
That quietly reshaped how Jason came across to his audience. It's funny how life works, how sometimes what feels like a new low can be the exact moment you're on the brink of something higher. Over the next few months,
Gotta
Jason
keep
took every
pushing,
successful
bro.
element from his streams and dialed it up to the max. He brought his Discord e-dates into the real world, traveling from state to state to host in-person dates with different girls. Sa, Selena, and Alyssa all became recurring personalities, and fans were quick to dub this era of content the Bop Arc. During this period,
The
Jason's
what?
channel exploded in popularity, just a month
Oh
after
my
his
god, bro. This feels kind of weird though. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I'm thinking about it, I hate when like guys use women as entertainment. As like it's very weird. Like you don't have enough personality to put your stuff on the next level. You have to use someone else to do that, and it's just very strange. And I feel like a lot of like streamers do that too, and it's very like I don't like it like at all actually.
breakup, his average viewership nearly doubled, soaring from 2,700 to 5,300 viewers in what felt like a blink of an eye. And the growth didn't stop there. Stream after stream, the numbers kept climbing. While attending college full-time, he was streaming an average of 160 hours a month, pushing his momentum farther than ever before. But just beyond that wave of success was something even bigger, an opportunity that would take everything Jason had built and launch it into another universe. He was going to join FaZe Clan.
Shit, do you have to manhandle me, bro?
I actually am wondering like how does FaZe Clan like get their streamers? How does that process work?
Oh, holy. Man, what do I even do?
Spitballs, pranks, disruptive outbursts. Mogging? Normally,
Mogging?
under
What?
these circumstances, you would be expelled immediately. But your father has given a very generous donation to the university.
Rich. Sheesh.
Now, a little backstory. For those who don't know, FaZe Clan can be credited with pioneering a lot of what you see on social media today. What started as a small group of gamers making YouTube trick shot videos turned into something entirely new. Eventually, the group bought a house in New York and all moved in together, arguably creating the first content house the internet had ever seen. From there, things snowballed. By 2018, FaZe had stepped far beyond gaming. Their roster, icons like FaZe Banks, Temper, Rug, Adapt, Rain, and Apex were everywhere. They landed
this
huge
is
brand
likely
deals,
gonna
made
look
the
so
cover of Sports
choppy.
Illustrated, and even IPO'd at $1 billion valuation. But then the empire cracked. Now, we've got a video up on our channel that breaks down exactly how and why everything fell apart, but here's the short version. The founders had their equity diluted, corporate overvalued the company, put the wrong focus in the wrong places, the content went stale, fans stopped caring, and eventually FaZe went bankrupt. The founders managed to buy the brand back, and in early 2024, they set out to spark a full-scale revival.
And
Step
now,
one, wipe the slate clean.
I think Banks isn't even a part of that anymore. I think he stepped down. I don't know who the new person is though.
Almost every single talent was dropped and a fresh roster was announced. For OG fans who'd been watching for years, the bar for the new faces of FaZe wasn't just high, it was astronomical. One by one, names were revealed, some familiar veterans and some complete newcomers. And on that shortlist, nestled among a handful of new recruits, was JasonTheWeen. Truth be told, no one believed in the new group. For most fans, this felt like just another lazy, corporate-driven sellout. Exactly the kind of hollow move that had sunk FaZe in the first place.
But the thing is about that, I don't like when people say that, oh, the old thing was so much better. No. You just hate how something is different from what you're used to, bro. Times change, get used to it. It is what it is. I mean, maybe like some content, old content is better, but like at the end of the day, just because it's new does not make it bad. Like, for instance, this new Shrek movie, I think that it looks great. I think the animation looks good. I don't have any problems with it, but other people do. Just because just because it looks different, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure if that's like a great way to look at newer things, you know what I'm saying?
is that sorry-ass new FaZe Clan lineup, man? Who the f*** are these people?
However, almost everyone was completely wrong about the new roster. Within weeks, public opinion began to flip. Clips of New FaZe started flooding TikTok, from trips to Tokyo, month-long subathons, and a steady stream of content both as a group and as individual creators. The momentum was undeniable.
That big Lacey, bro! Oh!
Jason, in particular, was breaking into a whole new tier of mainstream success. In the closing hours of the month-long subathon, he hit 100,000 active Twitch subscribers, overtaking streaming heavyweights like Kai Cenat and Jinxie, making him the number 2 most subscribed to Twitch streamer in the world.
That's pretty impressive.
Jason went
That's
on to
cool.
close out the year strong. His average viewership would climb to over 15,000 viewers per stream, a 474% increase from the start of the year. He closed in on 1 million followers on Twitch and even won the 2024 Breakout Streamer of the Year award.
6 months ago, I finally dropped out of school to pursue streaming, and today I can say it was finally worth it. Breakout Streamer of the Year, let's go!
Up to this point, a lot of Jason's success had been built around the persona I've been talking about. The guy.
Shit, I'm just gonna be like, you for real, bro. Give me some money, bro. Dang, I probably shouldn't have done that. I was gonna like buffer like crazy. Can we play? Thank you. We just out here licking on feet, bro. Crazy. The video is getting a little long. I need to use this focus machine. That sounded so stupid. I can't even hear the audio to this. That's why like you don't. If you see me, I'm not talking for like 15 seconds. That's literally why. Sometimes I just can't hear the audio. Hello? Bro. I muted myself.
The girl content slowing down.
Because, you know, I've realized.
Jason, girl content? Not happening? I'm not subbing anymore.
Wait, so you're quitting girl content? I'm not quitting, I'm just slowing down. I just feel like, you know, it's time to evolve.
Heading into 2025, Jason started taking off the mask. Instead of chasing whatever performance would go viral or playing solely to what the chat demanded, he began building streams around what he genuinely wanted to do. The exaggerated persona took a backseat, and his natural self started to come through on stream.
Who's your favorite Asian YouTuber? Just say it, bro.
Rage. Nika Higa. I didn't say that's his name! That's his name!
With the mask coming off, his content stopped being confined to 4 walls, and the world itself became the stage. In South Korea...
Why was that his name exactly? Like... Bro... Like, I know. I'm hoping that isn't for the reason that I think it is. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. Because, like, when you hear it, you can assume that people might take that, like, weirdly when you hear it, right? But people back then did not care, bro. And they still don't even care now.
Yeah, he met New Jeans, one of the biggest K-pop girl groups on the planet.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, this is crazy.
From there, he took his journey to England, where things truly snowballed. Within days of landing, Jason was
pretty
filming
cool.
with some of the UK's biggest creators, Angry Ginge, Deji, and
Who?
George Clarkey, before stepping in front of a camera for a Sidemen 20v1 video.
Wingardium
Oh
Prognoto.
my god.
You feel that?
For any creator, being featured in a Sidemen video is a huge milestone. But the momentum didn't stop there. Just before the shoot, news had broken that he'd joined the cast of Inside, a Netflix reality series created by the Sidemen themselves. And then came the moment that would put him in front of one of the largest audiences of his career, the Sidemen charity match. All 90,000 seats at Wembley sold out. Over 2.7 million tuned in live. The roster included titans like Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, iShowSpeed, and Kai Cenat. And for the first time, Jason wasn't the weird kid trying to make a name for himself on social media. He was one of them. He was now a part of the club he once watched from the outside. He had the numbers, the clout, the collaborations, Wembley Stadium crowds, Netflix credits, his name alongside the biggest creators on the planet. But none of that was the finish line, because long before the Twitch records, FaZe Clan, and charity matches, this all started in a small Texas suburb, with a quiet kid who promised himself one thing: retire mom and dad.
My dad sacrificed a lot. My mom sacrificed a lot. Cause I think my dad was always telling me that if he stayed in Vietnam, he could have been like super rich because he had like businesses out there. But he moved there because, you know, he wanted to start a family with my mom and with me. So he kind of put everything onto me. And sometimes
that's insane, actually.
like I need to be successful.
That
due
feels.
to, you know, all my parents' sacrifices.
You see, success and sacrifices are like two faces on the same coin, inseparable, each defining the other. One side shapes you into someone capable of winning, while the other validates every hard choice you've made to get there. Think of just about any successful person, not the rare one-hit wonder, but the ones who've truly built something lasting. All of them have paid a steep price, a big chunk of their life traded away in exchange for a shot at the position they're in today.
Even like one-hit wonders, though, if you do it right, that can last long as well. But to be fair, I've never seen that actually happen, so maybe that's just wrong.
For Jason, sacrifice has worn many faces over the years, and since middle school, it's often come in the form of relationships.
Honestly, in middle school,
Yikes.
they used to call me Chino because I was surrounded by a lot of Mexicans.
But like, why are we counting middle school relationships as like a real thing?
Okay.
So there's not a lot of Asians in my school, so I'd have to, you know,
adapt.
I guess adapt or learn new cultures. So that was also a struggle. Like sometimes I would be scared to speak Vietnamese on the phone because some kids I knew they would make
are
fun
weird.
of me, things like that. But in middle school, I'd be like self-conscious.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd sometimes want to be like, I guess not want to be a different race, but like, dress. I'd dress a certain way. I'd do my hair a certain way. Things like that.
Perceived as cooler in the crowd.
A lot of stuff to come here. Were you born there or born here?
Born here.
And you mentioned that like there was some amount of like pressure that you were.
Is he a therapist? Because I actually seen him before, but I'm not sure if he's like a licensed therapist or is he just some guy talking.
Feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the sense of you of like the clock is kind of ticking. I'm also getting the sense that your parents like sacrificed and you're like an only child. So it's kind of like, you know, you get one shot, right? And so kind of like it has to count. Like everything's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So when you tell your parents, like, let's say like, I'm going to pretend to be you for a second. Okay. Let's do a little bit of role play. You okay?
Right.
Hey, mom, dad, like I'm concerned that y'all are getting a little bit older and I'd love to spend more time with y'all before, you know, it kind of gets too late. Like, I know that y'all made a lot of sacrifices for me, and I'm grateful for that. I feel like grateful and indebted to you, and you guys have done so much for me, and like I want to give that back. And I'm afraid that I'm running out of time to be able to give that back. So I feel like this immense pressure to be like really successful, like today.
Not tomorrow,
I don't
today,
have a whole lot of
bro.
time to tell you how grateful I am.
Yeah, I'm pretending about that.
Yeah, what's it like to hear that, first of all?
I feel really emotional. Feel like, damn, I should tell him that. I want him to know that this is why I'm doing this.
Since blowing up over the past couple
What about your mom,
of
though?
years, he kept that promise in motion. He's bought his parents new cars, surprised them with $10,000, and is now on the path to fully retiring them. For Jason, making content is about giving back to the people who've been in his corner since the start, not personal success or to stroke his own ego. Last year, he became Twitch's #1 most subscribed Asian creator, but instead of keeping the spotlight all to himself, he used his platform to highlight other Asian creators and musicians.
Ever since JasonTheWeen has taken his next level, he's putting a lot of Asian people on for real.
In doing so, he's become more than just a streamer. He's become someone Asian kids growing up in America can look up to. Someone who proved you can be yourself and still win. And he's done it without bending to the old pressure to fit in. The very things he once tried to hide are now the...
I think that he's still kind of bending to the pressure a little bit. Maybe not like as much as he used to, but I think that he's definitely still bending to a certain extent. Bro, play. Thank you. Oh.
Things he stands out for. Jason's only 21, but his story's already proof enough. In the end, every sacrifice, every late night, every hard choice was worth it.
Alright, y'all. Let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments. I may or may not look at it, because again, y'all kind of scare me. But that's it for today. Nothing too special.